started with the next session. So next up, we have the Richard Stockton College of New Jersey, and they're going to teach you guys everything that you need to know about event planning in the Big Event Planning 101. So again, please save your questions for the end, and without further ado, I will pass the mic to our presenters.
Hi guys. Wow, I didn't know so many people really wanted to know about event planning, but I guess so. So I'm glad to see everybody, like the whole place is filled. I'm really glad to see that. So thank everybody for coming today and listening to my presentation. We are from the Richard Stockton College of New Jersey. We're representing Stockton PRSSA. I'm Sutton Packenham-Petrello, and I'm the chapter president for Stockton PRSSA. And also presenting with me today is Orla Maloney. She's our vice president, and Bill Huber. He is our PR director. So during our presentation, we really don't want us to just be standing up here talking at you guys. I know you guys, sure, we have lots of information to talk to you about, but we really want you guys to interact. So throughout the presentation, I don't know if they're being passed around or not, but there's little puzzle pieces that are being passed out, and they have our, first you have them right there. They have our Twitter handle on it and also our hashtag that we're using, and you'll see why the puzzle piece is important in a little bit. But we actually have someone who will be live tweeting. They're back at home in New Jersey. They're going to be live tweeting during our presentation, so if you have any questions or comments, do it right during the event, and they'll get answered right during our presentation. Some little fun thing. All right, so is everyone ready to learn all about event planning? Yeah. All right, so what makes a great event? What is something that you've been to and you walked away and was like, wow, that was awesome. I don't know even how they did it. It was so great. What do you guys think makes a great event? What are some aspects of it? Cake Fair. Yeah. Someone said Cake Fair. All right, you have to have fun. Anybody else? Any other? Great food. Anybody? A theme. A theme. Decorations. All right, those are all great answers. All great answers. All right. So I'm going to show a clip real quick, and let's see if any of those answers that you said, any of those aspects of an event, are in the clip. So did we see some of the aspects that you guys called out? Music, fun, the theme, food, and drinks, I'm sure. But, so, as most of us, I'm sure, know, Jay Gatsby is a really good, he's known for his events, he's known for his parties. So I think we should all make you all the Gatsbys of your chapter so you can go back and be able to throw awesome events just like Jay Gatsby. What do you guys think? Okay, so let's get the party started and learn how to be just like Jay Gatsby. Alright, so you guys might be thinking, well, what do they know about event planning? They're probably just like just students like us, don't know much. Well, I'm going to tell you that not that long ago, we were just students very nervous about how to throw any kind of event. But last semester, we threw our very first big event at our chapter. We're a fairly new chapter. We only founded over a year ago. So this was our first time to really show what we had in event planning and really knock it out of the park. So we threw an event called Communication Innovation 2014. It was a speed networking and keynote luncheon. We had over 15 keynote speed table rounds, ranging from topics of social media, elevator pitches, to crisis communications, all types of different topics. And we also had a keynote over the future of communications. And we had over 80 attendees, and they ranged from our own Stockton students to community members to professionals to even high school students and community college
Alright, so you're thinking of having a big event, and first thing you need to do is decide what that event is going to be. So as Sutton said, we decided to do a speed networking event with a luncheon and a keynote speaker. And the reason that we chose to do that is because we were new and we wanted to get our name out there. So we invited all local professionals, and it worked for us. So what you're going to need to decide is, if you're a small chapter, you don't want to throw a huge benefit. I mean, maybe you do, but you want to bite off, what you can handle. And if you're a large chapter, you don't want to sell yourself short. So you really need to figure out what's going to work for you.
So when you start your event, you want to get your whole chapter involved. It's important to delegate who will be in charge of each aspect. For us, we have someone in charge of the lighting, speakers, someone in charge of decorating the venue, and someone set to be the photographer for the day of the event. We also had someone in charge of updating our social media pages, as well as taking interviews and speaking with the media to create some hype for the event. You also want to hold your chapter members accountable, so set team captains. There's a lot going on, so you need each captain to be as strong as the other. It's also a group effort, so you need your chapter to be as strong as each team committee.
Now it's time to make it a reality. Plan your event.
Alright, so first thing you're going to want to do after you decide what kind of event you're going to have is pick your theme. So our theme was in support of Faces for Autism, which is a local nonprofit. And so obviously puzzle pieces are a big part of autism awareness, and we decided to use that as our theme, and our theme here. So we did our research, and we made sure that we were consistent across all platforms that we were advertising the event. And we actually created a special logo, special PRSSA logo that we used in all of our promotional materials.
So a big part of your event is knowing how to pay for it. Whether it's a small fundraiser that you're having or a big benefit like Lorna said earlier, we need to have a way to pay for it. So one of the biggest things I can advocate for that our chapter did, and that is really good for any event that you're holding, is to have professional sponsorships. What that is you contact organizations, businesses. They could even be somewhat tied to your event. So for example, our event was tied to communications, so we had a PR agency help sponsor us, and also another communications global market insight. They also helped sponsor us. And basically what they did is, they gave us money to help with our event, and in exchange, we gave them advertising. So for your events, you could do advertising, whether it be on your programs, on the PowerPoint slides that you have, if you're someone doing a keynote, or even on a special handout that's just for thank yous. And really, it's a great way. It benefits both the organizations that are sponsoring you, and it obviously benefits you because you're getting money to pay for everything. And I would say, don't be afraid. This might sound intimidating to go to big organizations and ask, but the biggest thing they can do is say no. So it doesn't hurt to ask. So don't be afraid to ask. The biggest thing they can do is say no. And you never know what can happen.
The next place you're going to want to look is your on-campus departments. So like at Stockton, we have the Office of Event Services, we have the Office of Student Development, and we also have an on-campus print shop. And those are great tools because they're free, one, and they're there for you, so you want to utilize them. So the Event Services Department was great because they're the ones that plan all their events on campus, so they're like really good mentors. And then the print department, I mean, they'll print out anything for you, you don't have to pay for it. I'm in for that.
Another way to offset event costs is by accepting free services. You'll be surprised at the things people don't mind donating or let you borrow for your event. For example, we had our centerpieces used as decorations on our tables donated from our president's office. We also had our door prizes donated from various businesses around our area. You never really know what people are willing to donate without asking, so whatever you do, don't be afraid to ask.
So as we all know, PRSA is a really important part of anything that PRSSA does, but especially for planning your events. For example, our PRSA chapter, they helped us out a lot, especially with logistical help. While we were planning our event, we really hadn't thought about anything to do with how people were obviously had never done anything like that before, so they gave us their assistance and really helped design the homepage. They not only designed it for us, but they helped to run it and even update it when we had new things being added to it. And it really was a great benefit to us because we learned something new, a tool that we had never used before. It was through constant contact. And we were able to connect with them and really learn new tools that are really beneficial.
And the other thing that you can use is their media. So obviously they are a large group of people who are all interested in PR for the most part. And for us, PRSA New Jersey allowed us to feature an article about our event in their monthly newsletter, and they also send out information about our event in their emails as well.
Our PRSA chapter also helped us a great amount with our professional speakers. We literally have hundreds and hundreds of professionals right at their fingertips, and the majority of them were more than willing to help our student chapter.
Okay, so this is a write-up about our event that was featured on PRSA New Jersey's website.
So this is one of my favorite topics that we talk about it all about the event planning process is using your professional and faculty advisors. So I could go on and on about how much they helped us throughout with everything, but I guess I have to limit it. It's only a 20-minute talk. So right here, these are our two advisors pictured right there. And what I can say is use them for everything that you need help with, no matter what. Even if it's something that you think is silly and that you feel like you shouldn't be asking, they're the people to go to. So for instance, our professional advisor, Jennifer Tornetta, she was a past PRSA New Jersey president. So she has definitely thrown her fair share of events and knows what tools you need to be using, how to go about certain things. So she really helped us, and we were able to utilize her experience, not only through PRSA, but also her experience with the media. She really was able to show us how to talk to reporters when they came to interview us about the event, what to talk about, what not to say, because that's also important. And also our professional advisor, our faculty advisor, Dr. Ira Zhang, who we wish could be here. She just had a baby, so she's not here. But she really was imperative to going about everything through our own schools. You know, what departments to go to, who to talk to for everything that we had to do involving our school. So they really are a fountain of knowledge, and they are just the number one piece to anything that you do in PRSA, obviously, but especially the events that you plan and run.
Okay, so now you're going to want to expand your puzzle beyond your chapter, beyond your school, and you're going to want to reach out to professionals. So, like we said earlier, it's good to get out into your community and contact the people who could possibly speak at your event, who could be of assistance. And like we've been saying, the only thing people can say to you that would, possibly deter you is no. And then you just say thank you and you continue your search. And these people might not be able to come to your event, but they can, again, offer you advice, and they might be able to help you with your job search in the future. You just need that connection.
Another really great way people to invite to your events is obviously other PRSSA chapters. We're each other's #1 fans, so I would like everyone be here right now. We all love to connect with one another, so they should be one of the first people that you invite to your events, because not only are they going to be there for you and you can connect and network with one another, but you also can use them as sources of ideas and bounce ideas off of each other. For example, we had our event and Temple PRSSA, is anyone from Temple?
In the house?
Yeah, they were at our event, and they were also planning their own event. So a few days after our event, they came up and they emailed us and asked us, how did you do this, or how did you go about this? And it really was a compliment to us because it confirmed that we had done a good job for it. But it also, we were more than willing to help one another, and it just confirmed. So really utilize one another. That's what you guys are there for, to help each other out and learn new things.
You need to think outside of your school community. There's many community college students as well as local high school students that can also benefit from your event. You need to reach out to these local high school organizations and community college organizations to make, when you speak to them, you want to make sure you let them know how your event will benefit them.
So before we go on to the final pieces of planning your big events or small events, any kind of event really, I just wanted to go over some of the challenges that our chapter faced so that maybe your chapter won't have to deal with them and it'll be one less thing you have to worry about. So by far, our number one challenge was time. We had very little time and it was very crunched amount of time. So the number one piece of advice that I can give any chapter, whether it's you're planning a small fundraiser or this big gigantic networking event, is to really plan out your time well. Use your time, and also use your time well. Know how much time you're going to need for each part of the planning process, and stick to it, because we had a very short time, and it was very hard to get everything done, and we were very rushed at the end. We still had a good event, but it caused a lot of stress that we probably didn't need.
Yeah.
I already talked about money a little bit, but that was another big challenge for us. When we started this event, we were like, oh, I guess like the money fairy is just going to give us money. We really didn't know how we were going to pay for anything or where any money was going to come from. And we also didn't have a set budget. So that is another key component that you should have, is a set budget. From the beginning, start out and say, this is how much I want to spend, and don't go and stick to it. Don't change it halfway through and be like, oh, well, we could really add a little more. We could add this or that. It'll be okay. Because in the end, it will all add up, and then you'll be like, I'm really supposed to pay for everything. And our other two challenges that we had is be prepared for the unexpected. So we decided to have our event in the middle of winter, which, if you've ever been to New Jersey, it snows a lot. It can snow a lot, and it had a lot last year. So we just happened to pick a week where it snowed pretty much every day. And we didn't have a backup plan at all. No snow day, nothing like that. Thankfully, it didn't snow, but what if it had? So another key advice to all of you is have a backup plan. Even if it's not a snow day, just have a backup plan in case anything can happen. And finally, you stick to the committees that you have made. They're there for a reason, they're there to help you, and it's really good to know who's in charge of what aspect of each event. So if that's in place, then you really know.
Okay, so now it is time to present your puzzle. Woo! All right, so like we said, we did have promotional material made up, and the picture down the bottom right there is the logo that we had created for the event. We had the decorations, like we said, the puzzle pieces were all around. We had them on the tables, and we also advertised on social media, but the key here is to be consistent across all of those platforms. So even though we had specialized materials for different things, we did have, like set things for students, set things for people in the community. The flyer on the left there is the flyer that we handed out to students. You can see on the lanyard the puzzle piece was incorporated as well. And then down at the bottom there are the table centerpieces that the President's Office donated to us. And then this is just a write-up of our event on Temple PRSSA's website that just showed, what they liked, what they, got from the event. All right, and then another really big thing you're going to want to have is a consent sign that tells people that while they're in your event, their pictures will be taken, and they could potentially be used as promotional materials later on. So you don't want to have to run into any kind of problems with people if they don't want their pictures taken.
So these are both kind of things that are things you really don't think about at all. So included in the consent sign is also having consistent updates with both your speakers and the people that are coming to your event. Whether it be how to dress, where to park, directions to how to get there, little stuff that you might forget. To tell people it's really important, and also to designate one person in your chapter to be the contact person the day of the event, because then you give that person's number out, and then everyone calls that person, and it's like, I don't know where to go. Can you help me? Like, I don't know where to park. And then you have one person designated rather than 5 people in your chapter trying to answer one call, trying to answer one other person's answer. It's a lot more cohesive if you do it with one person delegated for that job. So we're getting to the final piece your event, so these two things, the event grid and the VEO, which is a fancy word for a banquet order, are your best friends for any event that you have. What they basically are is their rundown lists of everything you're going to have in your room or at your event. So I know this is kind of blurred, so you can't really see it. But this is an example for a wedding, so it's obviously going to be a larger scale. But it has everything, how many tables you're going to have, what's going to be on the tables, all the food that you're going to have, if you're going to have decorations in certain places, where signs are going to be, anything that, and everything that would be in your room or at your venue goes on the list. So that way, when the day comes, you can just go on the list and check, check, check until you make sure everything is in place.
All right. An important part of your event that is sometimes overlooked is your event survey. Your post-event survey is a way to get feedback from people who have gone to your event. This will help point out your strengths and weaknesses of your event. We also had our post-event evaluation, which we call Hot Wash, where all our chapter members got together and we went over what we personally thought we did well at and things that we needed to improve on. Both of these are just important for us so we can become stronger and make a better event next time around.
Alright, so we have wrapped up the whole event and we're finally finished. And so with that, I just want to say good luck to all of you on planning all of your events, big, small, big chapter, little chapter, doesn't matter. Good luck. And I want to leave you with a few final words about planning from our 34th president, Dwight D. Eisenhower. He says, plans are nothing, planning is everything. Thank you, guys.
If anyone has any questions, you know the drill.
Hi, I'm Alex. So I was just curious, the last slides you had where you talked about having surveys and having people give feedback. That's something our chapter is really trying to implement as well, because obviously you don't know what you did wrong or what you did right until you ask. So I guess I have two questions. The first being, how did you have them fill out the survey? Was it online? Was it in person? And then how did you kind of create, I guess, that incentive so you got a good amount of feedback, or maybe you didn't and you wish you had, I don't know.
Right, okay, those are good questions. The first part of your question, we actually had the survey placed on each table in the middle, and we gave reminders at the end of the event, like please fill them out. We also did an online one as well, so we did both parts just to kind of try and capture everyone's kind of response.